Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today, I'm leading a show with a discussion on the good news that the president himself shared Saturday morning about the attack of presumably the deputy leader of ISIS globally. It was a big news that excited quite everybody about the action that was done jointly by the US and Nigerian forces. To join me in that important conversation today, I have a retired Major General who was formerly Chief of Logistics of the Army and also formerly the Provost Marshal of the Army. He has also commanded a couple strategic and operational commands. I'd like to welcome back to Inside Sources retired Major General retired Major General Pat Aken.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
It's good to have you again, sir. Now, so quite a bit of good news. And this time it's significant that the president himself was the one that announced it, because we had said, for instance, on this show during the attack of Christmas Day that the president was silent. But this one, he signed the statement himself. How do you respond? What was your first reaction to the fact that, you know, the joint military of the US and Nigeria were able to get out this kind of guy? Okay,
so the weight of this event is exemplified by the fact that the president himself signed the release, and we read it with great joy. You see, given the past couple of weeks and the events that happened, and then the loss of senior military officers in the battlefield, this kind of news is good. The nation needs a savor of good news, so that to just give us some morale, impetus, and hope that things can be better, that the battlefield is being shaped in a manner that becomes profitable to us and results in the outcomes that we'll be expecting. So it's good. And then given the caliber of the person that has been taken out, that has a lot of significant ramifications. And going forward, if it is persistent, you will see that the shape of the battlefield will begin to change and give us the kind of results that we are expecting. Okay. So it's good news all around.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, it's good to have that validation from a retired general, because, you know, some of us civilians, we need this thing to be properly interpreted, which is why we're having this conversation. So in the statement of the US president, he said that this is one of the worst terrorists in the world, and he also praised the partnership of the Nigerian government. He did, of course, said that the US military is brave, and then noted that Nigerians were also involved, but praised the partnership. So I wanted to ask you that. So how does this help us, you know, in practical sense? You know, how much of this kind of action and how persistent should we have this kind of action?
Okay, so for starters, I'll say that this guy that was taken out, Abu Al-Manuki, or Manuki as sometimes he was referred to, was, according to President Trump, the second in command of ISIS.
Yeah.
So that is huge. But beyond that, this criminal was involved in the Dapchi Gas kidnapping of 2018. So he was a high value target.
So he's been around for
quite a while. He actually grew up in the ranks. And that is the challenge. You know, when you take out somebody of this caliber, somebody replaces them. So while we are rejoicing, you have to maintain the momentum by constantly attacking them and taking out their leadership, disrupting their networks, disrupting their leadership. But it's significant. And so the fact that Trump issued a statement himself, that speaks to the partnership that is ongoing.
Yeah.
You know, for a while he's been silent, so people did not know that there were a lot of undercurrents and a lot of workings under the ground, and that is good, because you must work in secrecy to maintain surprise, to maintain intelligence that's been gathered, to maintain secrecy. So it was good that they were working like that. But it shows us that the partnership is on, that it is thriving, that it is alive, that it is ongoing, and it is good for the nation. It's good also. America's that shows the muzzle of the Americans. That shows their reach. That shows the strength of a nation. So it's good all around. And again, we must point out the fact that when you take out somebody of this nature, the rank and file become demoralized, at least for a season.
Yeah.
at least for a season.
Afraid.
And then again, given the scope of the operation that was executed, it's possible that a lot of intelligence was harvested. And so that will be used they will interpret that and begin to plan further operations. The key here is this, is persistence, is partnership, and is precision. And
persistence, partnership, and precision.
That's how you fight these guys. And that means that you're having eyes that are seeing the battlefield, you're having ears that are hearing, and you are capable of interpreting what you are hearing and seeing into the kind of intelligence that can be deployed for operations. So it's very, very good all around. It's good news for Nigeria. Nigeria has gone through a lot of stress, and is still going through a lot. So this kind of this silver of good news, it just makes everybody happy. I had said before that America should not engage in pinpricks. You know, when you just put a pin, draw blood small, and then you move away, that bombing, even if you're not going to be engaging in bombings constantly, because again, you wouldn't want to be doing that in a foreign nation that you are not at war with. But operations of this nature can be executed multiple times, and they will shape the battlefield, they will change the narrative, they will give our troops morale, they will make us, even the nation will be galvanized behind supporting the troops, because everybody loves a winner. When you keep winning like that, people will become very proud of their armed forces, and they will say our armed forces are doing well. So it's good all around.
Okay, so you had indicated in your response that this guy that was that's now been eliminated was involved in the DAPG. Do we know whether himself or his group also played any active roles in some of the devastations that were suffered by our military?
It's very, very possible. You know, there is an unholy marriage between ISIS and ISWAP. And so, they work together. So unless you are sitting and analyzing intelligence gathered from those of us who are outside, you can't tell exactly, but it's very, very possible that he's been involved. You see, he's second in command of ISIS globally. That's what President Trump said. And that's significant. It means he was carrying a certain level of authority that he could speak and things will happen, that he could give directives and things will happen. It means he was dreaded by even fellow terrorists. It means he was feared. It means he was respected. It means he was exercising command. He was deploying authority at a certain level that was very high. So it's possible that his fingerprints are all over the activities in the northeast and northwest.
Interesting. So this happened in the Lake Chad Basin, which is I'm sure close to the northeast. Now, so that must mean that quite
and Chad and Niger
exactly, and that area. Now, so two questions in one. How do you think this will affect the terrorist camp? And then how should the people in northeast and northwest, should they expect that things will begin to get better? Is it the right way to think about these things?
Okay, so first from the perspective of the terrorists, first, when a high caliber person like this is taken out, there is normally a loss of momentum, and they are dispirited and loss of morale, but it's only for a season. You see, because they are ideological. So the ideology is the fuel that drives. That's if they are ideological. And these ones are to some extent.
Yeah, seems so.
So that drives it. So what they'll do quickly is a leader emerges. Normally, and this is like a lottery. So sometimes you kill a leader of this caliber and you end up with somebody worse than him. Wow. Yeah. So they will look for somebody that is fierce, somebody that is heartless, somebody that is ruthless, somebody that is committed to their ideology, committed to their cause. That's the kind of person that will emerge. And then so for a season, they will look dispirited and disorganized. Because their high-level networks of leadership, the chain, has been disrupted, because he wasn't the only one that died. We're only talking about somebody high up there. But exactly. He died with a couple of people. Then they will calibrate, reorganize. And then that is why momentum is key from our perspective. You maintain momentum. You don't allow a wide span for them to regroup, re-engineer their activities, rejig their architecture, and then continue fighting. No. So you hit them consistently. consistently. So I believe that the intelligence that has been gathered as a result of this operation will put to good use quickly. And then again, so we need a whole of government approach. The president declared a state of emergency, and with respect to security, that ordinarily gives you the able room to release resources, to tap into multiple resources that you can use, for this kind of. So the armed forces should be getting resources. Other organs of governance should be deployed as applicable, as fitting to the war effort. You see, because if we're talking about elections and you're talking about development, or that you need security to be able to do that. And so we don't want to turn this thing into an industry that just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. You need to end this. You need to end this. Look, this nation is a great nation. It pains me that we are going through something like this, and other African nations look at us and they feel if Nigeria were to get it right, we would have gotten it right. So there is space is being created for small nations to be shining at the expense of Nigeria. And so you need to deal with this quickly. It's a headache, and it's a headache that is persistent. It's a headache that is disruptive, that is disrupting the peace of a nation. So you mobilize resources and deal with it ruthlessly once and for all. Insurgencies of this nature take some time. It doesn't mean that we will finish it tomorrow and then there will be no disruptions here and there. But you will know that the main effort has been, their main effort has been thwarted, and that they've been reduced to a level where they can only be carrying out sporadic attacks here and there, and that you can handle. So we need to build on this momentum. This is significant. This may even have more impact than the bombing that was done on the 25th of December.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Because you see, we didn't hear much about that. A nation like America celebrates something. They know the outcomes. They know the results of this. Nigeria is celebrating that. When the president himself is signing the release, he's virtually telling the nation that we are winning. And we've gotten some good news for you in difficult times. So to maintain the momentum, that is the idea. The idea is to maintain the momentum.
And you think that the people in Borno, where there has been quite a lot of devastation even this year with the killing of officers, and then the people in Northwest, you think they should be hopeful?
You see, every win of this nature gives hope. The challenge is if you are unable to maintain momentum, and then a lot of events happen that are against us, attacks that are successful, officers and soldiers killed. You see, you can win continually. The terrorists only need to win once. And it makes nonsense of all your efforts.
Although
this is the challenge.
They've been winning for quite a while.
And they've been winning for quite a while. So we must build on this momentum that has been established. And then that means the partnership must be nourished, it must continue. The intelligence must keep on going, training, logistics, supplies, all that there must be a constant flow such that the troops' morale is high. Troops fight on morale. When the morale is high, they fight. So give them something to rejoice. Give them protective gear, give them equipment. Look, we can only talk about development if we're at peace.
True.
And right now we're at war.
Absolutely.
So everything that must be done must be done.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So you have served in the Nigerian Army. You commanded some strategic and operational commands and all of that. It is your view that the Nigerian Army has the capacity, and I wanted to clarify this because you said it before, that Nigerian Army has the capacity to end this terrorism. Do you still hold that view?
Yeah, I do. See, we did these things in Liberia. We did it in Sierra Leone. I was in Sierra Leone when the rebels entered town and took half of Freetown.
Wow.
Yeah. We did fighting in built-up areas to drive them out, and that was difficult. When you are fighting in built-up areas, it means you are moving in and you are a sitting target. And Nigeria did it.
Wow.
We can do this. Support the troops. Eliminate corruption. If things are to get to the front lines, let them get to the front lines. Let there be an audit that shows that we have sent things and the things have gotten there. Let resources be well spent. Let equipment be top range equipment that are functional.
Right.
let the troops be taken care of. Thank God the president has approved for recruitment of more soldiers.
Right.
And the chief of army staff, I understand, is executing. But, if you keep losing, then the guys who are recruiting will think they are being fed into a meat grinder.
Yeah.
So you don't want that to happen. You want to keep winning so that they know they are joining a winning team.
Yeah.
So you must shape that with resources. The president must back them fully, and I believe he's doing it. No president would like to see it and have this kind of thing going on.
Absolutely.
And then, give the service chiefs metrics, key performance indexes to measure, to say, yes, you are achieving this, you are achieving this, you are achieving this. It's not to hold a hammer on their head. You don't treat generals like that. They know what they are capable. They are brilliant guys. They know the house cannot move to rise and become that. We must cut you some slack and assume that you know what you are doing. And then the president who selected them has confidence in them. His job is to keep assuring them, I have confidence in you. That's why I gave you this job. But I want deliverables. Nigerians are looking for results. They want to see results.
Right.
While we are doing that, we're tackling kidnappings, we're tackling banditry activities, we are returning IDPs back to their ancestral homes where they can farm. Because the next challenge you'll be facing will be a food issue. You'll be having food security will no longer be there. Everybody will migrate. Abuja, for instance, has grown up in population within the last couple of months.
A lot of people are coming back.
People are coming into
from some of those places.
From locations. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to abandon places so that the spaces become ungovernable spaces that terrorists and bandits can exploit, kidnappers can exploit. One girl was kidnapped. She said they trekked for 3 days. They trekked for 3 days heading into the bush.
Wow.
No presence of any. In other words, these guys are moving.
Yeah.
Our intelligence networks, drones, and technologies should be able to pick those kind of things. People are paid ransom.
Yeah.
They even call. They make calls. We should be able to intercept those calls. So there's a whole lot that can be done. We thank God for this win, but we shouldn't rest. Momentum. That's what should be ongoing now.
I like what you said. You said partnership, precision,
and persistence.
Exactly. Final question. Wanted to ask you. There is this news item that said that the Nigerian military wanted to have the Turkish military set up a training base in Nigeria. Do you think it's a good idea?
Okay, so you see, I'm not privy to the detailed discussions, but this is it. Nations are partnering. Partnerships are going on everywhere. As long as they are profitable, as long as they are in our national interests, anything that can make us win this war without selling our sovereignty is welcome, as far as I'm concerned.
Because some of the criticism is that, first of all, wouldn't that affect doctrine? And then, because there has been some... just a moment, so that you respond together. That there have been some military shipments that came from Turkey in the last several years that were suspicious. So some critics have said that, look, we got to be careful dealing with Turkey. So I said, let me ask the general.
We're buying equipment from Turkey. Turkey is a top, high-level weapons manufacturing nation. But not the only one benefiting from them. Look, let's get the weapons from wherever we can get them, as long as they get to the front lines and are used.
Fantastic.
Turkey won't change our doctrine.
Okay.
We've done courses all over the world. I was in service. I did courses outside the country. They didn't affect my configuration. I was in Pakistan for 1 year, National Defense University.
Okay.
I learned things there that otherwise I wouldn't have known. I was a colonel, and I was in the National Defense University on that course, hearing some military terminologies for the first time. So I came back well equipped. No, we should partner with everybody as long as they are not affecting our sovereignty, as long as they are bringing value to the table, as long as it will contribute to the outcome in the Northeast and everywhere. This partnership.
Okay.
Turkey is okay. As far as buying military equipment is concerned, yeah, okay.
All right. Thank you so much, General Pat Akemvingi. Thank you for your views. Thank you for the insight that you've even shared today. And thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right.